Dortmund.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Brighton 0, Crystal Palace 1, full-time in the Premier League. So Palace moving above their rivals in the table. We might be able to bring you some live reaction in the next 25 minutes. Before full commentary of Liverpool-Manchester City, these are the sounds of Anfield. Big game in the title race, big game in the race for Champions League places. John Murray has the teams.
Yes, Arne Slot naming an unchanged team from last weekend, the 4-1 win against Newcastle here on the Saturday night. So Alisson in goal, Szoboszlai at right back, Konate, Van Dijk and Kerkez, then Gravenberch with McAllister, Salah, Wirtz, Gakpo and Ekitike. And for Manchester City, Pep Guardiola makes 5 changes from the team that started the second leg against Newcastle on Wednesday night. But from this time last week against Tottenham, just the one change, and that sees Marmoush start, having scored 2 goals against Newcastle in the Cup on Wednesday, with Shirky among the substitutes for this one. So City with Donnarumma in goal, then Mateus Nunes, Husanov, Gay and Ait-Nouri, then Rodri, then in some shape or form, Bernardo Silva, Nico O'Reilly, Semenyo, Marmoush and Haaland. I've written it down with Bernardo Silva and O'Reilly either side of Rodri, Semenyo on the right, Marmoush on the left. But there are a number of possible combinations of that.
Yeah, and that's Ait-Nouri at left back then, yeah?
Well,
I think you're right.
I'm saying that. I think it will be, because that's where he played against Tottenham last week.
Paul Robinson, they're the ones to start with for this exact reason. We know exactly how Liverpool are going to line up. Manchester City could do it a couple of ways, but that probably seems most likely at the moment.
Yeah, well, we've seen Pep Guardiola tinker with the system numerous times,
Once or twice, yeah.
And he'll be coming here looking for a reaction. He'll be looking for the element of surprise as well. And actually, he can play Rodri as a sitting midfielder on his own, Semenyo on the right, and Nico O'Reilly actually on the left-hand side of the midfield, with Marmoush and Silva in behind Haaland. So it's going to be a really interesting one to keep an eye on as to what the formation will be. But that's one thing we can guarantee: it will be a back four, and it looks like Ait-Nouri will be at left back.
Szoboszlai at right back, Jules. He's got a hell of a game today, because Marmoush is coming down the left-hand side, and Mo Salah's not going to be doing much defending.
Exactly, and I think whatever combination Pep Guardiola has come up with, and we will see, and probably the boys in the stadium will be able to see now, because you would expect the City back four to warm up together at some point. So you will see if it's O'Reilly there or Ait-Nouri with Guehi and Kusanov and Nunes, and then we'll have maybe a better idea. But it's to exploit the Liverpool right-hand side. I know it's pretty obvious. Others have done it before. Remember the Chelsea game, for example, against Salah, where Cucurella was really higher up the pitch. Whether it's Semenyo on the left or Marmoush again, that will also put a lot of pressure on Szoboszlai, who's not really a right back, who's there because there's nobody else capable, because everybody's injured. Frimpong, Bradley, Gomez. So it'll be very interesting on that side of the pitch to see what happens, who plays there, and who gets the best of the other.
The way that they're warming up, it does look as though Ait-Nouri will be playing as the left back, Mateus Nunes on the right, because they're putting the balls in. It looks as though maybe Semenyo just off from the right-hand side, but I've been led up the garden path by managers with the way that they do things in the warm-up before in recent times. So I'll just tell you that's what they're doing right now in the warm-up.
Yeah. Paul, I'll apologise for saying this before it leaves my mouth, because the exact opposite will end up happening. But we've got 2 teams here with so much attacking talent, who both spent quite a lot of the season looking quite open. This just feels like it should be a really, really good game.
Yeah, both are defensively susceptible. We've seen that. We've seen that in recent weeks. But Liverpool have scored 15 goals in the last 4 games in all competitions. Put 4 past Newcastle in the week, and then they beat Karabag here 6-0. So they're a team that are in form, and they've got players that are finding form. And the bigger picture around the game is that both of these need to win this game. So you wouldn't expect a defensive setup really from either of them.
I'm really enjoying at the minute, Jules, the Ekitike link-up, which just seems to be growing game by game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Ekitike was always there, and he was always going to be there, especially with Isak's issues with injury now, but even before that, to adapt, the late transfer, all of that. Wirtz, I think, is even the most interesting one, probably, in the way his game has changed since arriving. And again, there's no shame to have to adapt from the Bundesliga to the Premier League. And a club like Bayer Leverkusen, where he used to touch the ball a lot, I think he averaged last season 81 or 82 touches a game, which is a lot of touches for an attacking player. his first 20 games, I think, for Liverpool was something around less than 50 touches a game. So clearly not up to speed with the physicality, the rhythm of a Premier League match, and in a team like Liverpool. Since that, and you could see how much he's improved, even in his own rhythm on the game, but he touches the ball more, he wins a lot more duels, he's far more effective and far more decisive as well in what Liverpool want him to do, especially as a number 10 playmaker. And Ekitike has helped him a lot, I think, in that, to find that focal point, to be able to have those little combinations together like we saw against Newcastle last weekend.
I wonder, Paul, around Florian Wirtz. You think about the goal that he scored against Newcastle in the 4-1 win. That almost said a lot about how he's grown into this team, because it's the kind of chance where if you're not in form, if it's not happening for you, either you can sort of slash at it a bit or you try and hit it too hard, and he just stroked it in with such composure.
Well, we know we like our stats and figures. There's one around Florian Wirtz that just states where he's at and where he's been. He's got 9 direct goal involvements in his last 11 games. He had 3 in his previous 21. So that shows the improvement in him. And I'm a big believer that it takes certain players time to adapt to this league. It takes certain players time to adapt to playing with one another. And I think they've had to play together with Florian Wirtz and Ekitike. We know that Alexander Isak's been injured, so he's been out of the side, and they've been kind of forced to play. And this relationship between them has gelled, and they've bonded together, and they've got an understanding on the pitch. And actually, they work really well together. But it's not something that maybe Arne Slot wanted initially with Alexander Isak coming in. But it's really working for the pair of them.
It's also, Jules, meant to take you a bit of time to get used to playing for a really big club, but it seems like nobody's bothered to tell Antoine Semenyo that.
It's interesting, isn't it? But maybe because the way he was playing before and the way he's playing now, in terms of not so much the system and the formation that City are playing out, but what his game is about. Because even now, as good as this City team could be collectively, he's been very much give me the ball and I'm going to shoot, give me the ball and I'm going to do this, which is the directness that I think they signed for. He's a player that is as comfortable right foot, left foot in front of goal, for example, which is really rare even at this level. And that has helped him, but I think there's still more to come from him in a kind of team perspective and collective strength on how to integrate himself a little bit more in that collective unit at City.
I'm just watching pictures of Arne Slot, who's actually down there in the technical area, as if the game was already ongoing. It's quite a big question, this, I appreciate, Paul, and that's the applause, because the Liverpool players led by their manager are just going off down the tunnel. But right now, there are so many similarities between Liverpool and Manchester City. They're both trying to kind of transition between slightly older players and slightly younger players. Who right now feels like in a better position, not just for the rest of this season, but moving forward? Do you think you would feel more confident about your team and their current direction if you're a Liverpool fan or a City fan?
That is, I mean, in all honesty, both, I think. I think they're both in a good situation. You look at the age of the squad, you look at the players that they're bringing in, and I don't care how many hundreds of million or 200 quid you spend on players, however many you bring in, you're going to take time. You know, regardless of whether the player's £100 million or £100, you're going to take time to bring a new player into a new setup. And you look at the amount of players that Liverpool have brought in and the turnover that they have, and the injuries that they've had at the start of this season as well. You're just starting to see the fruition of it now. That the best of Florian Wirtz, Ekitike is getting his opportunities. They are growing together as a team. And actually, I think both teams, you're exactly right. They're in a transitional period, but whilst still trying to stay in the elite and at the very top of the Premier League, whilst transitioning.
But the transition for Liverpool is obviously a bit advanced compared to City, because City will have to deal with a post-Guardiola era. And whatever that happens this summer, the next one, he only has 18 months left on his contract and he's not going to extend. So we have him between now and June, or at best for another season after that. And after that, you need to find the replacement, and this is going to be tricky. And whereas for Liverpool, okay, Slot is not doing as well this time around compared to last year. Obviously, I think there's probably a lot of Liverpool fans who still miss Jurgen Klopp a lot, and completely understandably. But at least they have the guy that they decided to go for to replace Jurgen Klopp already in. Whereas for City and Hugo Viana and Ferran Soriano and all the people in charge, this is all to come yet. And this is going to be very, very difficult, because right now, you can tell me about Xabi Alonso, you can go and try to get Luis Enrique from, I don't know, anyone, Thomas Tuchel, whoever you want. this succession work now, the post-Guardiola era or cycle, is going to be so difficult for them to manage.
However, if they lose this game, Liverpool, to these opponents, you know that there is a faction, it's impossible to tell how big it is, that don't think Arne Slot is the right man to take this club forward. And if they lose this game, then, you know, that will increase, won't it? That will be a talking point in the media 6 or 6 later, whether he is the right man with this changing group of players.
If they believed him initially to employ him, it's a phrase I use and I use it a lot. The greatest gift you can give any good manager is time. Yes, you give him hundreds of millions to spend as well, but there's no better proof in the pudding than the man in the opposite dugout today, Pep Guardiola. Look how long he's had at Manchester City. Mikel Arteta at Arsenal. Look how long he's had there. Managers, good managers in a good club with a good setup around them, they will get success eventually.
And isn't this, Jules, exactly why games like this are so important, even if you take out the context of the league? Because there'll be Liverpool fans at the minute, and there are Liverpool fans at the minute who aren't feeling good about Arne Slot. We know that's the case. If you go out and beat a Manchester City,